I'm Tracy Cromwell, and I was diagnosed as a pre-diabetic. I believe it was 2006.
Hmm.
I never thought that would happen to me. It always happens to someone else. And I didn't really look like a typical prize. And, but, it also ended up
It froze a little bit. It's freezing the your video, so I can't. I didn't hear anything from you. So if you could do it again, try. Because you're freezing.
hang on,
Can you hear me?
I can.
Yes. Okay. So
You can't hear me though.
no, I can hear you now, but you keep freezing every few seconds.
Cromwell, and in 2006, I was diagnosed as a pre-diabetic.
Hmm.
It was a bit of a surprise. Someone about 25, 30 pounds. At that time, I guess I carry my weight well, so no one would have thought that I was pre-diabetic. Um, so it was a bit of a surprise.
And then what happened?
And then what?
And then
Okay. So, so I took it as an opportunity. When I was a child, I was always feeling kind of sick, and I never really thought anything different about it. I thought that's just the way everybody was. So when I was told to change my diet, and I I started to take out refined carbs out of my daily regimen, introduced whole grain, a lot more whole grains, and I realized that I was feeling better. I also realized that when I ate certain foods, um, they would immediately make me feel sick. So, um, in that regard, I want to say that diet was a blessing for me, because I don't know if I ever had it, that I felt that I had the opportunity or the right to tell people that I needed to eat different,
hmm.
let alone would I have known that I had to eat different, or that maybe I was high maintenance, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, like, oh, that's another one of those, wacky people that has to have a special diet. And so for me, it gave me, um, it empowered me to go ahead and move forward. And I got a lot of noise in the background. I don't know if you can hear that.
Yes, doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. So anyway, yeah, so I, and what's interesting, what I didn't have a time to really put in the chapter, because we weren't allowed enough words, was I'd actually been vegetarian for some time. I had quit eating meat probably late 90s, and I wasn't I was actually pretty thin. Um, I still didn't feel very good on that, because I think I was eating a lot of the, still processed type of vegetarian food.
Hmm.
So what had happened was when, I met my husband, he was definitely a meat eater, meat potatoes guy, dessert guy.
Hmm.
And the joke is that he bribed my kids with grilled burgers and, Otis Spunkmeyer cookies. So, as we ended up getting married, and I started thinking, okay, maybe I am too high maintenance. I can start eating those types of foods. And it was in just, honestly, probably a 3-year span of time that I put all that weight on, and I got sick like that. I became pre-diabetic. And so, um, again, when, I started changing my diet, of course, it affected everyone else, and everyone for the better.
Hmm.
It's great today. I look at my kids and my husband, and our diets are so different. My son, they've never had weight problems. They've never had food issues. I think it's again because, um, if you want to say that, and you know, uh, I guess so. For me to say, it's just what can happen to one person, and then the changing that I had to make. It's benefited my whole family. Even now, it's spawned off into my relatives, and of course, then it made me want to go to school and become a health coach. I thought if I can get to people before, you know, they're in their 40s, like I was, you know, late 30s, before you realize that you don't have to be sick every day. You don't have to feel awful. It's not normal.
Yes.
You know, yeah, we don't have to be that way, and so, yeah, so anyway, let me keep talking here.
So tell me, what type of clients are you getting now that with all your background story, what are the type of people that look for you?
Well, it's really interesting now. So I've brought on several clients, interesting enough, pre-diabetic or folks that just want to lose weight. And I have one that doesn't want to lose weight. She's just realized she feels awful all the time and thought she had a eating disorder. And then with me helping her, and then also having her go see an integrative doctor, we found out she's got a lot of food sensitivities. She never wanted to eat, and she had a hard time keeping weight on. So I was helping her through that. And then what I'm finding too, and I'm working with clients, is not only we focus on food, but we end up focusing a lot on lifestyle and stress management, because all those things, you know, it's figuring out the underlying emotional aspects that I think the biggest aha I've had is that I think I'm going to be teaching them all how to cook and all about minerals and you know, micro and macronutrients and all this and that. But more of it is that they just want to know how to live well and healthy and feel good in their bodies. And so we spend a lot of time working on that stuff. So we throw the food changes in.
Okay. What is the biggest challenge that you have encountered with these clients?
A lot of it is habits that are so ingrained, is figuring out what those even thought processes are that are sabotaging somebody. Someone not feeling that they are worthy to have time for themselves or to set boundaries. They, you know, and I'm speaking to myself here. Everything I'm saying is, the arrow is just pointing at me, that worthy to take care of oneself. So, and so it's been really interesting helping someone learn to value their body and say that it's okay to put that first. As we all heard the saying, you know, if you're in a plane, in a jet, they say put your oxygen on first, and then you know, we're getting someone to actually do that has been one of the biggest challenges, I think. It's like, I think everyone knows what they're supposed to do, but how is, it seems to be the how part and the allowing part that's difficult. And then the second part would be just addiction issues with getting out of the sugar and the processed foods, you know, the craving part. That was hard for me. Because I loved sugar. Yeah, that was really sugary candies. For me to get into a grocery store and be able to go in and not think about it was a big step for me. And still some days I'll be looking at the Skittles, you know, right, the checkout stand, and I have to make a really focused thought decision to say no.
Mm-hmm.
What am I going to feel like when I eat that? So cravings, I think, and just mindset of value.
Mm-hmm.
So making sure you know that you're of value and your body is valuable.
And how do you help people get to that conscious choice of choosing the right things to eat
To
and not
eat,
to eat?
yes. So one thing I like to do is dissect their day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I figure out what their life is like, what's their schedule like, because I can tell someone, you know, do all these things, but if they don't have the capacity or the time set aside for that work. So the first thing is I just learned all about them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I found out what, you know, when do they get up? When do they go to work? What's their daily work like? Do they drink water? Are they taking breaks? Do they have time for a break? What do they do after they get home? So I ask all those things. And then, you know, are there family members involved? And then I guess it's called crowding out. Also, I'll see like where something's askew, and I say, well, possibly in this time instead, you could go ahead and say on Sunday pre-make homemade homemade chili, all the nutritional food, you know, nutrients in it, and then you can freeze those and freeze that, and then when you're tired, you come home and you don't want to cook. Guess what? Homemade food in the freezer. So we look at those types of things, just helping them learn to plan, because I think we all go minute by minute without thinking about planning. And if you don't plan, you're at the whim of whatever comes at you, which is, you know, at the office, someone brings donuts in and you're starving. You didn't plan to bring anything else, and so you're caught in that mode. And so one of my clients, I love her to death, and she started to plan, and actually she has food at work that she puts in the fridge, and then she's got snacks in the car, and then we're working now with getting her to where she's pre-cooking meals, and just those steps like that, just dissecting, because everyone's different.
Yes.
And not everyone likes the same food, so yeah. So,
yeah, I don't like cooking. I do like
yeah.
making salads, but cooking, yes.
Yeah, exactly. So, and if, you know, I can sit and tell someone to do something, but if they're not going to enjoy it or like it, I think the other aha I got when I was going to school was about my kids, but I really did them a disservice by not teaching them and having a kitchen. You know, that's when to get the food made. I wanted everyone to eat, and I didn't enjoy cooking.
Mm-hmm.
It was a chore. And now that I've learned some ways to do things easier, and I understand more of what that food is doing for me, it's a lot more fun. I thought, oh, if I could have instilled that in them sooner, in their lives, you know. Which again, they're doing really, really well. But I think cooking should be fun and adventurous, and being able to try things. And I was always afraid of making a mistake, so it wasn't fun. And now it's just a creative process.
Perfect. And what rewards you the most when you have clients that are completely lost in what they're doing?
What rewards me the most? It's really, I guess for me, and that's a really good question. When it can be something that's so simple, but just because so hectic and crazy, but to have them tell me like they'll come and they'll tell me things that have helped them out. Say halfway through my program, I'll do a recap with them, and then we do another recap at the end. But them listing out all the positive changes they made in their lives, seeing them at the beginning when they had one specific goal and watching them progress to where they achieve that, or maybe they haven't yet, but they've achieved all these other things that they didn't know that they could. But knowing that I was helpful, to me, emotional, but it's just, I know how lost I was, and experimenting and failing umpteen times, blaming myself for my failures with food, and knowing that I was I'm doing something important, helping somebody. So, and they're also different, so it's hard to tell you like a specific thing, but I think it's just knowing that I can do something.
So you make them find their way for a very a healthier way of eating and a healthier way of having relationships with food.
Yeah.
Yes.
With themselves. Mm-hmm.
With themselves. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, it just got frozen again. And do you work with all types of people, all ages, or?
Yeah, so I thought I would be in a specific group, but right now I think my youngest client's 22, and my oldest client is 70. And I had an older gal for a while, and it was a harsh, she wanted to lose weight, and she's just wonderful, sweetest thing, but I know that she had memory challenges, so I had to tell her family that she wasn't retaining anything that we were talking about, and so she was one I had to. That's the other thing, learning that you need to turn someone over to a different type of care. That was really bad for her, but she just didn't remember anything really that we were talking about, and that made me think I got to get to people a lot sooner. Some with the brain, Alzheimer's and brain health, and we've got to figure out how to get to people before that happens. And so yeah, and I was thinking too at some point working with even younger teens or children at some point. I'm just staying focused right now, with adults, but and then the other thought would be working with a whole family, having a family program where they're all working together, same exact thing, and I think that would be a really great program to put together.
You're planning it?
I would like to plan it. It's right here. Yeah. I've been, my subconscious has been working on it and trying to figure it out. What would it look like? Yeah.
I like it. I think it would be a very good idea because sometimes you find resistance in age difference or in genders inside the same family.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's hard. You have one person that wants to change, but if the rest of the family doesn't, it makes it very hard. And so if you could make it how do we help the whole family work together, where everyone feels valued and their choices are valued. That I worry about children today being so obese. It's not right. So yeah, I don't know when I'll have that ready, but hopefully in the next 12 months or so, kind of a program based around that. And I also believe that people come into your life the right time.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can just make sure people know what I do, they show up. I guess is how it happens. I don't know how to,
Yes.
they the right people show up. So,
Yeah, when you start looking for answers, or actually when you start on your path to healing, you start finding the right people to
yeah,
get you through it. So yes,
yeah,
it will happen that it happens that way.
yeah,
I do believe that.
yeah.
So, could you describe your journey in one word?
Amazing.
Why amazing?
Um, I like who I am now.
Mm-hmm.
If it didn't, and I think if I didn't go through any of that, um, I wouldn't be who I am today.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't understand what folks are going through. Um, it's my opinion. I think there are those that just have the ability to understand others really well, and but I think it's through life's journey that when you experience something for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
um, changes you, and remembering the days when I was actually pretty depressed, and I had a hard time just functioning, and all I wanted to do was sit on the couch and play some game on my iPhone, and and I just had no energy, nothing, and I look at today, and I'm like, I just feel really, really good, and I don't know if this didn't happen. I think I don't know if I'd be as healthy as I am today. Um, so yeah, they always say, like, would you change something in your past? And sometimes you want to go back and change something, and now I'm like, I think I'm actually okay with it all.
Like,
Be able to say I'm okay with everything.
mm-hmm.
It's a really, really big deal for me. So.
Yeah, amazing it is. Okay, so do you want to add something else for the people who are going to watch the interview?
I think what I want to say is that, um, we have an opportunity uh, to change our futures for the better. And although it can seem impossible, and each step can seem really hard and challenging, and you may feel like you're in that, and you're just stuck. When you just take the little steps, it's not about taking a huge, big one single step, but it's allowing yourself patience, um, allowing ourselves to learn, allowing ourselves to fail, and allowing ourselves to learn from that and say it's okay, is everything. So, my biggest piece of advice is that I know that there are a lot of folks out there, like I was, pre-diabetic, didn't know it. There's a lot of people out there that have type 2 diabetes and don't know it.
Mm-hmm.
I've met a lot of folks through this now that they're afraid to find out. And my biggest piece of advice is if you find out, then you can make a change. You have the ability to do something about it. But if you live in denial, or you're afraid to find out, your body's not going to heal. And in my story, I wrote that I got to change my stars,
Mm-hmm.
and knowing that through a journey of just small changes over a period of time, you can have an amazingly healthy body and an amazing mindset. Even if it looks bleak today, it can really change. And I think that's the biggest thing I want to say. That you can take a diagnosis as a blessing. And again, prediabetes is completely reversible. Type 2 diabetes can be managed and reversed to some extent, and you can have an amazing life without the um, with, without illness. So that's what I would like to